This is Chino with Electro Freeze Southeast. Today we are doing a reassembly video on an Electro Freeze CS 705 milkshake machine. We're going to start with the head assembly. Alright, so any gaskets that you guys have on the machine needs to be lubricated. Not doing so will just wear it out faster and cause it not to function correctly. So this is the door O-ring for the head. We'll want to pop that back into the head assembly. So this is the pivot post. You want to put that facing the back of the faceplate. Next we are going to lubricate and put on the plunger. So you want to pop the gaskets back onto the plunger. Alright, so the gaskets go into the groove. The groove part of the plunger, you want to put the handle, you want to make sure the ball is facing on the right side. You want to slip it into that notch and then insert into your head assembly. Once you align everything, you'll see that, you know, it matches, right? So for the spindle assembly, you're gonna need this. You're gonna put the longer piece into the head and the shorter piece of it into the actual handle. And it'll slide right in, and that's what actually keeps the handle from falling off every time you pull product. All right, and that is completed. We're gonna put that aside. This is our mixed feed tube. We're gonna wanna lubricate the O-rings on the mixed feed tube as well. All right, and this is the last gasket. All right, we're going to put that into the mixed feed tube. You want to make sure it's on the on position, which you can see right through the hole. Okay, and next we're going to do the individual pumps. You are going to want to lubricate the gaskets for the pump hoses. We're going to pop them back in. All right, so this is our pump assembly, so we're gonna want to notch the hose inside the pump assembly, and what we're gonna want to do is have the cross side out and the other side facing in to the pump, and then we're gonna slide it into the pump housing. And when you have it done correctly, we need to push the hose back in. It actually, you know, make sure the hoses are almost facing all the way in the back. And that's it. I have already popped the gaskets back on the mixed chamber. These need to be lubricated as well. And then we are going to do the beater assembly next. So this is the bushing. You'll want to lubricate the bushing. Just a light lubrication on the outside and the inside. We're going to put it straight onto the beater. It's our beater seal. You want to lubricate the plastic part of the beater seal. Do not lubricate the suction side, the suction cup of the beater seal. We're going to slide that into the beater shaft. Then we're going to put the blades on. So the blades really only go one way, so you'll want the flat side out. Alrighty. Alright, and we're ready to put these all back onto the machine itself. So we are going to put all the parts back on the machine. We're going to start with first the mixed feed tube. I'm going to put it through the hole on top. And then we have our float, which we're going to put in on the top as well. We're going to put the mixed the hopper cover back on. This is our drip tray. I'm going to snap it into the groove. So we're going to first start by putting our beater assembly back on. You'll want to use both hands and gently put the beater assembly on, making sure that the rear of the beater never hits the freezing cylinder. And when you get it in there, you'll want to do a couple turns to make sure it's locked into place and all the way back there. Our beater bushing has a notch on it. You'll want to make sure that notch is facing the top, which will match the head when we put the head in. So we're going to start by putting the completed head assembly on. I'm going to slide it on. And we are going to tighten the screws. You do not want to screw one side completely in. You want to screw them together and tighten them together so that the head sits evenly in the barrel. All right. Next, we want to slip the actuator rod in the back. There's a notch for it on top, and you want to put it in the faceplate. Every time you pull the handle, this is what tells the machine that you're drawing product out and that it needs to kick the beater motor and the compressor on to compensate. So all right, and we are gonna, this is our mix shaft assembly. So we're gonna slip that through the bottom all the way up, and we are gonna make sure it latches on to our blending head. You want to lift this part up a little bit and then slide it all the way in, and then turn it around until it snaps into place to where it's nicely firm in there. You can't take it out. All right, next we are gonna do our mix chamber. So when you're putting the mix chamber in, you want to make sure that the 3 are on the right of the machine, and then the 2 flavors are on the left side of the machine. So we're gonna put that through, and then we're gonna turn it to snap it on. Then we can put all our flavor hoses back on to the machine, onto the mix assembly. You want to match the flavors and make sure they snap on there good. We're going to put the cover assembly back on. The magnet sits in the back right here, so when you're putting it in, you want to make sure that it's on the nut and then slide down to lock it in place so that the magnet actually touches the machine and tells it's safely to turn on and off. All right, and that is all for the top part of the machine. We're gonna move down to the lower cabinet. Hey folks, so we're gonna put our pump system back together. You'll notice that there is a T on this cross here, and then there's a circular hole through there. So what you wanna do is put your hoses on like that, and then put the circular part through the pin that's in the hose fitting. Just kind of squeeze it in there. It's not a perfect, and then you want to pop the hoses in like that, and you'll see them popped in correctly. And what it does is this will turn and then create suction for it to take the the syrups into the syrup lines to the top of the machine. So we're going to start by putting this back together. So you want to turn it at an angle. It pops in at an angle like that, and then it locks into the position. So you want to start like this and then lock it in and snap it tight. you do have to realize that the syrup lines are color coded. So this one is yellow, which matches the yellow that's on the top where you adjust the amount of syrup that actually goes in. So we're gonna pop this one in. It just pops right in. And then we're gonna attach a syrup line. And then this will go into the bottle that corresponds with the yellow. So yellow right now is birthday cake. So we're gonna keep putting them back on. And then this one is the chocolate. So this one is brown. You're gonna wanna match the brown with the brown. This one is especially important in the sense that the chocolate line tends to be a little bit thicker than the rest of the syrup line. So this has a special hose to it. And then we are gonna add the chocolate line to the actual pump. So we're gonna do the same with the other two. So lock and then tighten and push it down and then it'll lock in. Gonna add our syrup line. And this one is color coded red, so you wanna attach the red one on. And then our next pump is the blue pump, the color-coded blue. And, oops, sorry. And then it's locked in. We want the last syrup line that's blue. And you just gotta make sure you have the right one so that you have the proper flavoring that goes into it. So, and we're gonna attach that to this. And everything's complete.